Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Felicity, and we're just gonna jump straight into this Soft Glam. First things first, I always start off with skin prep. I always cleanse the skin with micellar water, and then I'll go in with my toner by Paula's Choice, and then I'll go in with the moisturizer. You always want to moisturize even if you're oily or dry. I like to set the brows with translucent powder. That way they stay on longer and your eyebrows doesn't become oily looking throughout the night. And it helps the brow pencil glide on if you have moisturizer that touched your brow hairs. I'm going in with my Morphe brow pencil, the slim one in the shade Java. And as you can see, she already has a nice shape to her brows. So I just want to fill them in and make them more bold. I don't want to change her shape at all. If you need a full detailed video on how to do brows, I can definitely make a separate video for that, but just let me know. I'm starting with my base and I'm going with the cream bronzer, but I use the black opal foundation stick. You can also use a concealer. Foundation is just a little bit better to use, or like an actual cream bronzer. They just blend more seamlessly into like the rest of the products. But if you want to use a concealer, you can. Just make sure it's a really creamy one and not one that dries down too fast or too thick. I'm bronzing up the cheekbones, the forehead, and I'll use the same thing to contour the nose. When it comes to all of your cream products, you want to make sure they're blended very well. And so you can have a seamless blend and there's no lines of demarcation. So throughout this video, you will see me doing a lot of back and forth with blending out all of my cream products and going back in with them to make sure, you know, it's all blended, but also you still want to see it. So you don't want to over blend. For my liquid blush, we're going to use Juvias Place in the shade Blush Lily. And I have like this disposable makeup adhesive tape on the back of my hand that you can get off Amazon. And I like to put a little bit on the tape and then I will get a little bit on the brush and then go onto the face. So even if you're doing this on yourself, you don't want to use that wand on your face because it's very, very pigmented. As you can see, like I really did not have that much on this brush. So a little bit definitely goes a long way, but if you are using this on clients, obviously you don't want to use the wand on their face because it's not sanitary. Going in with my concealer, I'm using e.l.f. with the black top in the shade Tan Neutral. And personally, I love my Too Faced concealers, but I was out of the shade that I needed. So I had to reach for this one. And it's a really good concealer. It's just very drying. Let me not say drying. It dries fast. It's thicker. So if you were to use e.l.f., I do recommend the white top. It doesn't dry as fast. I'm carving the nose with the same foundation stick I used earlier, and then with your brush that you're going to blend out the concealer with, you just want to blend back and forth within the nose contour so it's not like too harsh. So you'll go back and forth from blending it out and adding a little bit more, just so you can have like a very seamless blend and you don't see any harsh lines, unless that's the look you're going for. I'm adding concealer under the eyes, the upper lip, the chin, the bridge of the nose, and the forehead. And this is the concealer that I was using. I'm used to letting my concealer sit while I blend out the rest of the face. But with this one, you cannot let this one sit. Like, you have to blend it out once you put it down. I was forgetting what concealer I was using clearly because I had to keep going back over it and reapplying some more to get it to be able to blend out, which I did end up. She had left sometime within this video to go use the bathroom, and so I had to spray setting spray on her face, the Morphe continuous spray, to reactivate that product, but it's so drying, like it really didn't help. So I just had to keep going back over it. I'm applying my NARS foundation only on the jawline, and this helps to not have so many layers of makeup. So you only have one layer of cream products / liquid, and then one layer of powder. If you need that extra coverage, you can put foundation all over the face. It's really nothing wrong with that. I just, for my girls who, you know, have nice skin, they don't need all of that product, and the end finish always still looks full coverage. So that's just my personal preference. Alright, now I'm just blending out the foundation with my Real Techniques brush. If you would like a separate video on me going through the brushes I use or the brushes you know you're supposed to use, then I can make a video on that. But right now I'm just blending all of that out, and I'm going back and forth with my cream contour and then the foundation brush. This is when I sprayed her with the Morphe continuous setting spray because she had left, and I just needed to reactivate my products so I can blend them back out. And then you can see the adhesive tape that I had on my hand. I think I had put down a new one. But I'm just going back in with that same concealer I used for the face, and I'm going to carve out the eyebrows. And, you know, just apply that all over the lid so I can have an even base for my eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm going back in with that same concealer, but it's just a little bit. Like, I'm not reapplying a lot. I just need to apply some of it just to get it to kind of reactivate that concealer up under so I can blend it out. But while y'all enjoy me blending, I'm also using this 402 brush by Real Techniques. But while I'm blending, I just want to kind of talk a little bit about cleanliness and sanitation. In the last video, if you watched it, I did talk about cleaning your lip liners, your, you know, like your powders and stuff like that. So anything you need to spray down, you want to use 70% alcohol because 90% alcohol will dry too fast. So with your lip liners, you want to spray with alcohol, sharpen it, spray it again, spray the sharpener, all of that good stuff. Use disposables, all of that. But I've been seeing that some people are like just now becoming aware that when they wash their brushes, it's giving them a more cleaner look as far as not having eyeshadow buildup and like just product buildup, period. But I mean, I'm sorry, I thought that was kind of like an obvious thing to do, but it's not just about not having product buildup. You want to be clean for your client. So any brush that you have, you don't want to use a dirty brush on the next client. You always want to wash them. And the little brush cleaners is not cleaning them. It's not disinfecting them. You want to use an antibacterial soap. So I like to use the Gold Dow soap. You just really want to make sure you don't transfer any bacteria to the next client's face. And even for yourself, like, you can use your brushes more than one time for yourself, but I do recommend at least after the second or third time that you do wash your brushes. And don't soak your brushes in water, because that water will start getting down to the ferrule, I think that's what it's called, on the brush, where the glue, basically where the glue is connecting all the bristles, and it'll loosen up that glue. So you want to make sure you're just like hand washing them. Don't put them in a washing machine. I've seen people do that before. And then when you dry them, either go ahead and instantly dry them or like kind of lay them out to where the water isn't just still like soaking down off into the brush, because your brushes will start falling apart. Now that that's out the way, I'm setting the face with translucent powder, and I'm using the Onesize in the shade Honey. And you also want to make sure that you do go back under your eyes and blend them out before setting any creases. I'm setting everywhere that I added concealer, but you also can, if you want like that really matte look, you can go ahead and set all over the face with like the leftover powder. To prevent any clumps from getting stuck in your concealer, you just want to make sure you take your powder puff onto the back of your hand very lightly and just make sure you pat it and to even out like that translucent powder. To make sure I don't have any creasing on the eyelids before I set it, I'm just taking a little bit more of the concealer again and, just placing it back over it, and then I'm going to blend it all out with that same 402 Real Techniques brush. So lashes have never been a problem for me. Personally, I'll just use my finger when I'm doing the concealer, and sometimes with eyeshadow if it's not a lot. But if it's a lot and I know it's going to be a lot of fallout, then I'll use a piece of paper towel or like a cotton pad just to place on top of it. The bottom's just the only thing that aggravate me, just because I have to get like real close up under the eye, and for her, which I clipped out of the video, we had to keep stopping because some of them were trying to fall off and were trying to go in her eye, and there's just kind of really no way around it. You can use a smaller brush, but it's just hard either way. I'm using the Juvias Place Volume 4 palette for the blush, and this is both colors mixed. I'm using the Fenty bronzer in the shade Coco Naughty just to add a little bit of color to the eyes, but it's a Soft Glam, so you don't have to do this part, but I just like it because I feel like it ties the whole glam together. I also add a little bit up under the eye. When I first apply eyeshadow, I like to go ahead and pat the product on so I can get that pigment right away instead of going straight into blending. It just makes the process a lot faster. Now I'm chiseling out the cheekbones with that same One Size translucent powder in the shade Honey, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend it out because I don't like to have any harsh lines for this part. Only thing I like to bake is the sides of the nose. I'm going to go ahead and spray the face with the Morphe Perp and Set Continuous Spray. This is a fixing spray, not a setting spray, so you can use it throughout the makeup like how I did earlier. To brighten up the eyes a little bit, I'm going in with my Sephora eyeliner just in a waterline. For highlighter, I'm using the Makeup by Mario in the shade Honey, and I'm just taking this on the bridge of the nose. Using one of my favorite lip liners right now is the ColourPop in the shade BFF3. And I'm just lining her lips with that. And then I'm going to go in with my Sephora lip stain in the shade 32. I'm going to let her blend that out. And then I will go on top of it with just a little bit of a lighter concealer, just to give more of that ombre effect. And then I'm going to top it off with just a little basic hair store lip gloss. I'm gonna make sure they're like blotting this in place and not smearing it all over because you won't have that ombre effect. I'm just going back in with a little bit of lip liner just to get that desired look that I'm going for. When doing a lip gloss, I like to start in the center and then the outside. That way, if you start with the lip liner, it's going to darken up your inside, unless you need that. If you accidentally went too light, then I would definitely start with the lip liner so you can darken up the lip a little bit. And I'm just finishing up with touching up the eyebrows for any spots that may have gotten taken away with the rest of the makeup. This is the finished product. I hope you enjoyed. If this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. I will be posting weekly videos. Comment if you have any questions, let me know, and please turn on that notification bell because I will be posting every Thursday. Bye.